Hello and welcome everyone to GFF live stream. I hope you enjoyed Nolan here nor there. I'm here, here not there, and joining you through the internets with the entire cast and crew, or at least as many of them as we were able to wrangle here for you tonight. So instead of me introducing them, I think we're just going to quickly go around one by one, get everyone to quickly introduce themselves, talk about their role with the film, and maybe just tell us where you're tuning in from tonight. Maybe we'll start with you, Dustin. Can you introduce yourself for us, please? The director of the film, or the writer?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I wrote the script and produced, and was overall like kind of a anything guy. I would go get the food. I was just kind of like a gap filler. Did a lot of script supervision, like kind of anything that needed to be done in the moment when we were shooting. My name is Dustin J. Halati, and I am talking to you from beautiful middle of nowhere at my mother's house. So that's right.
Middle of nowhere, where?
It's a little over the border in Alberta, so I kind of broke the COVID goal of province to province travel, but it's just a little bit over the border. So Please don't judge me.
All right, right on. We're going to move on to Wilfred. Do you want to introduce yourself, the director of the film?
Yeah, my name is Wilfred Dieter, and I am residing in Regina, Saskatchewan, as we speak. What else can I say? I'm also a photographer, graphic designer, musician. I have my feet wet in a lot of different arts. The only thing I don't do is dance. That would be Charlie. Charlie would be the dancer.
Awesome. And Charlie, we'll go to you next. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Charlie Bigknife. I play Tanya Maple in Nolan here nor there, and I'm coming to you guys from Billings, Montana.
Nice. And Dan.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
My name is Dan Bigstone. I play the elder on the movie, and I live in Regina, Saskatchewan. I also like to sing and write my own songs.
Amazing. Well, thanks everyone for joining us here today, and thanks so much for the film. We were talking about it beforehand, and a number of us. I mean, when I first watched the film, I just it really drew me in, and I really couldn't stop, kind of watching it. When we were watching films for the festival, there's so many films that we end up considering over the course of the entire year, and this was just one that it just really drew me in, and I couldn't pull myself away from. So I was really glad to have you all here today. I guess I just want to note, Dustin, really the film started with you as the writer, and I was talking a little bit with Wilfred earlier tonight about how you were really kind of the driving force in a lot of ways behind the film. So maybe could you tell us about the genesis of the project and kind of where you got the inspiration to write this film?
Well, originally, when I started making films, I really wanted to tell stories that were specific to Saskatchewan. And so the first film I made was about a stay-at-home mother that kind of got cabin fever because her husband kind of wanted her to stay home more than she wanted, which I thought was like a very typical Saskatchewan story. Very often people marry young in Saskatchewan, and that causes problems sometimes. And then I wanted to tell another story, and I had like a coming of age story that was about someone who had to leave their home and stuff like that. But another element that came into it is I was in a class and we went out to the Fort Qu'Appelle area and we met with a bunch of people, and there was an elder that we met with, and he shared with us some stories, and he kind of changed my life. And so that kind of, so I switched, the character from moving from a farm to a city to, I kind of switched the script around to kind of like amplify a lot of the things that I had learned. And then we realized pretty quick that we were going to need a director because producing was like I was having such a hard time like finishing everything and getting everything done just from a production element. It was like really, really, really difficult. And we realized really quick that we weren't going to be, I wasn't going to be able to direct and then we had a director of photography and he didn't really want to direct. So we started looking around for people and interviewing directors. And so we interviewed a couple people, but like, I don't know, if you ever hang out with Wilf, he's such like a take charge guy. It's like right away I was like, oh, this is gonna be the guy for sure. You know, it was like we met at Victoria Tavern in Regina, and he was just like, I don't think he ordered my meal for me, but it was like immediately he just struck me as a very take charge guy, and from there it was kind of like, you know, after that just things had to happen and things were going. So and you know and what I saw that night was totally true. Like he was knew how to get performances out of the actors that I don't think anyone else really could have, and was really able to tap into things that just so happy he said yes. So
that's great. That's great. Yeah, could you? I guess everyone, maybe we could talk a little bit about the kind of the production of the film. And I mean, just to start with, you know, where exactly was it filmed primarily? I know there's a couple of different locations, but maybe we can kind of talk about that as an entry point for kind of the production of the film.
Were you asking?
Yeah, Wilfred, do you want to go for it? Sure.
Yeah, sure. We shot some in Qu'Appelle, and we shot some of the locations in LeBret, Saskatchewan. And they're right close together. They're like 5 minutes apart. Yeah. And then there's some on two reserves. One was my reserve. I'm from Pipikisi's First Nations, and we went to Okanese too to do a lot of the classroom scenes. We got to use their and one of the houses too on Okanese. Then there were some pickup shots that were done in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and we did go out to Saskatoon once too for outdoor scene, golf course scene, and the newspaper scene, which I end up showing up as the newspaper editor. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I think that's all the locations. I don't know if there's any more. Like Dustin did do a little bit of directing on a couple days that I couldn't be there, so. Nice. I don't know where those were.
one of those all hands on deck kind of affairs, I guess.
Yes, we were all wearing multiple hats.
I bet. Hey, Charlie, I'm curious about your experience in making the film. What was it like for you? I mean, we were talking earlier about how this is kind of your first experience kind of being a lead actor in a film, and I'm just curious about, you know, when you think back on it, what do you think of? Is there any stories, or how was the experience for you?
Well, it was fun, honestly. I enjoyed it a lot. I kind of wish there was a blooper reel because there was a lot of memories I wish were filmed.
Yeah.
And it honestly, it was just I wouldn't know how to describe it. Yeah. It was just I'm sorry, but
no, this is great. Yeah. What do you? How is it working with everyone on set? You know, was it like hectic? Was it fun? Was it difficult at times?
It was a little bit hectic, but then again, it was fun. You know, I got along with a lot of the actors and the directors and all of them, so it wasn't too bad. But
that's great.
it was all right.
Dan, I have to say I loved your role in the film. I mean, just the storytelling, and it's so deep and affecting. You know, your these you know dark stories that you're telling in the film. And could you tell us a little bit about your part of the film and kind of the storyteller elder role in the film?
Yeah, that was my first part that I really enjoyed. Thanks to the crew. It helped me relax, do my part as an elder. And I heard a lot of stories about residential schools I have never attended residential schools, but I have a lot of friends who have, and I've heard a lot of bad horror stories from them.
Yeah.
And so I try to do my best to play my role as an elder on that and telling the stories. I felt what they felt when I was talking.
Yeah.
So it was really exciting for me and really interesting. And thanks to the crew and the cast, and they made me feel welcome. And I didn't feel like I was an outsider. I was just part of the crew and part of the cast. And it made me feel great.
Totally. Yeah, one of the things I really liked about the film was just kind of how it acknowledges how kind of complicated this road of reconciliation is. You know, at the same time as there's like moments of great hope, there's still a lot of darkness to kind of overcome too. You know, how personal was some of this stuff for all of you? But involved in making the film. You know, was this something that you still think about and deal with these issues, obviously?
Well, Dan had quite a difficult role there because he had some really long monologues that he memorized, and he nailed it within a couple of takes. Amazing. Like he was the one that memorized probably the best, well, because of the amount of dialogue he had and stuff. And it was and then he had some a really good touchable moment there where he started singing. That wasn't part of the script. He just did that on his own. Yeah. And actually some of the other actors started crying when like for real, like when that scene happened. And we kept it in the movie. Yeah,
totally. Yeah,
I know there's one cast member, because those days were most of the grant scenes, we actually filmed that. We got permission to film on a site that is now this Star Blanket. It's their land now, but it used to be a residential school. So we're filming like right on that spot. And there was a cast member I remember whose mom would always drop her off, and she said, "Oh, my dad won't ever come here. In fact, he won't even come to this town. He always drives around it because he went to that school, and so he just couldn't. He would never even go in that town again." So it was kind of like these things that we see as distant aren't really that distant.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. One of the things that maybe, just in rewatching the film, more recently, maybe a week ago, the role of the police officer in the film, he was actually, like a super friendly, super helpful, super empathetic, so much empathy coming from that character to the other characters, to your character, Charlie, and to Nolan. And of course, in the post kind of current moment where, there's a lot of anger towards the police, it just kind of struck me as interesting. And I don't know if that's something you've thought about since making the film. Obviously, a lot of people, from the Indigenous communities across Canada have had really negative experiences with police, but these characters are kind of having a positive experience with a police officer. So I'm not sure if you have any thoughts generally on that, anyone, but.
Well, I was going to say, go ahead.
This is fine. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say that Dustin did a really good job of making those characters, the ones that are representing the police, the ones that are representing the church, to be people. They're just regular people that want to help out, and yes, I thought that was well done. Like there's. For every character, there's multiple layers of things that are going on there. So, and that was represented pretty well, I thought, in the script.
Charlie, what do you think about the role of the police officer in the film?
Well, from my personal experiences with police officers, I don't really like them, kind of. But yeah, no, it kind of changed my perspective. It's just like. These are people working just their job and whatever, just trying to make it to just get the money and whatnot. But it's just, kind of changed my outlook a little bit. And honestly, I shouldn't just judge on just a uniform, because it's like there's also a person behind it, and yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same thing with the like you said with the priest, I guess it was, and that was Dustin. Was that you playing the priest? Yeah. Okay, cool. Just making sure. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what I was talking about, or what I was meant to kind of say before, I guess, was just how they kind of really tells you how complicated all of these issues are. It's not just as simple as these are the bad people, or those are the bad people, or those are the good people. It's really, this world is a complex place, and these issues are so complex. And
I think anyone who's not at least a little angry at the police these days, I mean, maybe they're just not seeing the things I'm seeing. But originally, when I wrote that script, in fact, we ended up cutting a scene. When I originally wrote the script, I was thinking a lot about reconciliation, and so there's supposed to be characters that kind of represented kind of horrible things that happened and do happen, and then some sort of reconciliational, effort. So the priest obviously represents the Catholic Church. The police officer represents the RCMP, and is there another one? Oh, there was. So in the original script, there was a politician. Actually, I originally wrote it as Andrew Scheer before he was the leader of the Conservative Party. But it was like, but then it was like, it was kind of negative. So we're like, I don't think we're gonna get away with that. So we ended up taking it out. But I think like all those institutions have done horrible things, and some are, some of them is still happening.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of a little moving forward, hopefully.
Dan, I'm curious what you think. Do you think do you think that we'll ever, that these institutions and Canada and the us colonizers are ever going to be able to be at peace with our history and the Indigenous peoples of these lands?
No, I don't think so, because my people, the Aboriginal people of the country, will always remember what happened to them. It will be passed on from generation to generation. Yeah. And I don't think we'll ever get that, that comfortable feeling again like we used to have back in the day because of this. And as for the role of the police officer, I've never had problems with police officers in my time. So there is friendly police officers out there who love to talk with you. You give them the time. Mm-hmm. So I've had wonderful experiences with police officers.
Thanks. We have a question from the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
But the memories will always last. They'll be passed on to generation to generation. This is what happened to us, and keep it up, keep it going. Don't forget about it. That's what's going to happen.
Totally. Yeah. And it's important. Hopefully, this film can be part of that story and those memories. It's really great. We have a question from the audience, actually. And this, I guess, I'm going to ask this one to Charlie, first of all, but everyone can take a kick at this can, as it were. What is the most memorable or fun part about making Nolan Here Nor There?
Just running around my hometown. I'm originally from LeBret, so yeah, I know the history and everything about that place. And it's just getting to show them around my hometown and just getting to know the people. Honestly, it was pretty fun. But also the Pope. When I'm carrying the Pope's picture, that was fun.
One of the people in our studio here was like, "Oh, I want one of those."
That was my favorite scene. Oh man!
I still have that in my basement. If anyone wants
a collector's item. I like it.
When my Catholic dad comes over, it's like I gotta put it away
and cover it. Put a blanket over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about anyone else? Anyone else have any memories of your most memorable or the most fun part of working on this film together?
My best part was when I was talking to the youngsters at the table about my trip up north.
Yeah.
And my way of living at that time for a couple of years, I think it was. That was my best part. I really enjoyed that, talking to the young people.
You're so good in that scene.
Totally. Yeah.
Well, for me, it was like it was just kind of like a lucky that we managed to get what we got, because like we were going through shots really fast, and they were good takes. Like we were getting lots of really good stuff really, really quickly, and like the bulk of it we shot in 6 days, and so, but we had a few pickup shots here and there. I don't know, altogether, what, maybe 8 days altogether if you count the hours.
Yeah, would be.
Yeah, so it was shot ridiculously fast, and my one regret though is that there's a couple of scenes that I wish we could have did the way I like, the way it read off the script, but we just didn't have time for it. Maybe in the future we'll piece it together again.
Yeah.
Those added scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, what Wilfred says is like absolutely right. It was pretty hectic. The first day, I can't remember how many hours we shot. Like, I think it was over 12 hours for sure. I want to say it was like close to 13, 14, maybe more. And after that, Wilfred came up to me and he was just like, we can't be like subjecting people to this anymore. So we knocked it down to like 12 hours, which still seemed like not enough time. But I'm amazed too. I can't believe we got like 6 days of shooting is insane. And like some pickups, but like not a lot. Like I think originally we're supposed to have 9 days of pickups, and we didn't even do that. But for me, even in that hecticness, there's always like these moments of levity. Charlie was always good at cracking jokes and making us like a little less serious, and there was this one time I remember where she was doing the scene with the farmer at the farmer's table. That's the other thing. The farmers represent settlers. Anyways, when she was doing that scene, I remember she had this like toffee in her mouth, and then she was like, and it was causing too much noise, and someone was, I think Wilfred was like, can you take that out? She's like, no, I can do this really quick. She just starts like chewing on it super fast. But it's coffee, you know. So, so there's moments like that just helped like everyone be like, wait, this filmmaking is fun. This is good.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it almost felt like Charlie and Braden were not even acting; they're just being themselves. Charlie's take on her character was like she stayed on track with that really well, and Braden, I don't know, I brought Braden in, and he just kind of like I didn't know what to expect. I knew he had this presence with him, so that's what I was riffing off of with him. But then he came in and he knew his lines. He did everything. He just walked in and walked off, and it was kind of funny how the two of them like, and the chemistry was there with the both of them. Like it worked really, really well, like just miraculously. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Shout out to Braden John King. Is that was Nolan?
That was Nolan. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. I mean, both him and Charlie, you guys had a great dynamic. It was really natural and really seemed like yourselves. I have a couple more questions I want to get to from the audience. One from Roger Boyer here, a filmmaker and a collaborator with the Gimli Film Festival with his Indigenous Filmmakers Association here in Manitoba. They have a screening tomorrow at 4 p.m., I believe it is. And his question is, did you receive funding for your film from grant support, or were you funded independently? And he just says, also shout out to the cast and crew. I really enjoyed the film.
Go ahead.
This is a zero budget film. it was we had food for everyone every day, and water, and try to get everyone coffee every morning. But it was a zero budget film. We didn't get any grants, didn't get anything. I applied for some things, but I'm horrible at grant writing, so it's So we didn't get any grants or any funding, but we had a few people. We just had talented people that read the script and wanted to donate their time and believed in it. And basically that's how we were able to do it. And we had like a really short shoot schedule, so people were able to commit. But that was like the only, like, sometimes I'm still shocked it even is a film. But there's a few things that kept me going. One of the things is Charlie, because she almost like, so like a couple weeks before we're going to shoot, she was like, there's this concert in the States that I want to go to, but it's during filming. And I told her, I was like, this is going to be a great film. We're going to get into film festivals. And then I was just like, I can't not try and deliver that. So we were like just pushing so hard to get it finished no matter what. And it did. And it got into this film festival. So
and to be all honest too, the money that was spent came out of Dustin's pocket. He bought all the food. I even ran out of gas one day, and he paid for my gas to get me back home again. So yeah, it was like, Dustin.
But it wasn't a lot. It was like, it was food, and like that was pretty much it. We just kind of everyone worked their asses off, and it got finished somehow.
Totally, yeah. I've been there. I got another question. A couple of questions. Many questions coming in. Roger Boyer also asked, "Will you be making a DVD or Blu-ray?" So keep that in mind. But David Knight, one of the programmers who first told me for the Gimli Film Festival, who first told me about this film and who programmed the film, asks, "Can you talk about some of the music in the film, in particular the songs by Jacob, who plays Isaiah?"
Yeah. Well, and also Dan has 2 songs on it too. He's got the very last song on, "Native of the Plains," which I like sing to myself throughout the day all the time. It's such a great song. And also, "I'm Gonna Dance Next Summer," which is kind of during where Nolan is collecting all the things he's gonna masturbate to. But Jacob Goforth is. What's that?
Which is COVID safe, by the way.
Yeah. But Jacob Goforth, he goes by Jacob. I wish he was here. He said he was going to be here. I don't know. But Jacob Goforth, he goes by Jacob GoFlex. You can find his stuff on YouTube, and he makes these amazing songs. And I asked him, like, where do you record them? He said he recorded most of his songs. He was his reserve is Papicasis too, and he says that he would just the house he was in, there's a lot of people, so that it was too noisy to record. So he said he would just walk around with his laptop, and he would try door handles of cars, and then he would find one that was open, and then he'd go inside the car and he'd record his raps, and so he has an incredible drive to make music no matter what. And I wish he could have been here, but I love his music. It's so amazing.
That's great.
And Dan, do you want to say something about your music?
Yeah, my music is my upbringing as a First Nations person. It's memories that I have growing up, so I put them in song. That's where I get my inspiration from. Is from my upbringing, and I hope everybody enjoyed the songs.
I really enjoyed those songs. I felt that your influence was Johnny Cash. Did you listen to Johnny
Cash? I love Johnny Cash. I love all the old country singers. Native of the Plains was honoring my grandfather.
There's a comment actually on here right now that says from David Knight that says "Native of the Plains slays."
Thank you very much. And that song about "I'm Gonna Dance Next Summer" is just a song from what I listen to young people who are saying they're going to dance next summer and they're going to get all the girls and all that. That's what I wrote a song about.
Amazing.
You're looking great.
And another question from Roger Boyer. What's the next project for the Nolan team? Will there be?
Wilfred's got a million things going. What do you got?
Well, yeah, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff. I'm editing a music video that has 4 songs in it from a lady in Ottawa. Her name is Doreen Stevens, and yeah, I'm just stewing on that right now. I'm listening to her songs because it's basically it's going to be quite a bit different than the average music video, so I have to really plot it out. And then the last few days I've been shooting a mockumentary. It's a comedy about this guy named General Spanky is his stage name, and he's a comedian and he works for Canadian Mental Health, and he's also a patient. And so he does stand-up comedy. He does punk music. He also has a hip-hop album, and he also is a director and a screenwriter too. And we're working on his short film. It's 20 pages long, but it's going to be way longer than that because we're adding 6 music videos to it. So it's going to be the script. The way the script reads is 20 minutes long, but with those added things like the music videos and other stuff, it's going to be quite a bit longer. So, and yeah, we're in the midst of that right now, and yeah, keeping busy.
Cool. There's also a question, and this is going back a little bit, but Ava Thomas is asking, what was the concert that you missed out on, Charlie, when you had to shoot this movie?
Oh man, it was it was a Chris Stapleton concert. Yeah.
Well, next time.
Hey, Spotify.
Spotify.
On the plus side, you would never be able to be here in this amazing Q&A if it was for that dang Chris Stapleton concert. So
I guess.
I haven't forgotten, Charlie. I did promise there would be a red carpet in your future. So verifying that. I didn't know COVID was going to happen.
Yeah, we're rolling out the aqua green carpet for you at the seafoam green beachside carpet at Gimli Film Festival for you. So.
Hey.
And Dan, where can we listen to Native of the Plains and some of your other music? Is there anywhere we can find it online?
I got it on my phone. I could send you some.
Yeah, you gotta send the Gimli Film Festival some of these tunes so we can enjoy them while we have our after work drinks later this weekend.
Yeah. Well, I recorded 13 songs, but I ran out of CDs, so I got to make some more. People are asking for them.
It's awesome. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess we're about wrapping up. I just want to thank RBC for sponsoring all the GFF live stream stuff at this year's festival. I also want to thank the Canada Media Fund for sponsoring all of our Indigenous film series films this year. And I guess you know what that means. Though Nolan here nor their crew, I think you better be knocking on that Canada Media Fund door for your next film, so you can have all the funding you could ever wanted and more, hopefully.
Oh, some Nolan here nor there part 2. Just kidding.
Part 2. Well, thanks everyone for joining us, and please give our thanks to the rest of the cast and crew that couldn't be here today, and just really appreciate all of you tuning in and with us here, and hope you enjoy the rest of the festival.
You too.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Of course. Yeah, no, it was our pleasure. Goodbye.
Bye.
Let's say goodbye for 5 minutes now. Bye.
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 Goodbye.